Hey Scorpio, how's it going? My name's Alex. I think the Oracle and I might have something for you today. Before I turned the camera on, I got into a little meditation, got something for you, pulled an I Ching hexagram for you, and that's how we'll begin this reading. And what I saw during my meditation was kind of funny. It was a guy. He had like long, unkempt brown hair and a big, unkempt beard, and he was wearing maybe like a gray robe or something. And I think in one hand he had a paintbrush, and in the other he had a bucket of paint. And he was just kind of maniacally screaming, more light, just over and over and over again. And he was like laughing, he was kind of giddy, like a madman. He was like a crazy person. And like rainbows started shooting out of his mouth and his ears, and beams of light were shooting out of him. It was really funny, really weird. I have no idea what that's about, honestly, but we'll develop this further on in the reading. If that has significance for you right off the bat, let me know. I am interested in knowing. But anyway, the I Ching hexagram I got for you is hexagram 8, union, with a changing line, the fourth line there, fourth from the bottom, changing to hexagram 45, bringing together. So we have union changing to bringing together, with the fourth line, the changing line. So this is like an image of water above the earth. And this immediately makes me think of flowing water on top of the earth, or water collected in like an earthen vessel. Now, union is a sign of intimacy and closeness and harmonious relationships. Neighbors, neighborliness, a neighborhood, a community. But it's connoting like a group of people that has to work together. Like basically you don't have a choice in the matter. Well, I mean, you always have a choice, but there's apparently some group and you have to work with them. There's something going on that you just have to work with the group. Going it alone is just not an option at the moment. And you just need to find how to work with this group. And the key here is to focus on your commonalities and not your differences. I know a lot of the time people think about each other's differences when they have to work together to try and figure out how to compensate for each other's weaknesses and stuff like that. But in this case, focusing on what you have in common is going to bring this group together and create a good dynamic moving forward. Another interesting thing about this hexagram is that it is basically representative of the divination arts in general. It's like the idea of bringing together the oracle and the inquirer, that sort of union, the union of the human mind with the spiritual world to gain information. So perhaps you're interested, well, you're watching this video, you're obviously at least somewhat interested in the divining arts. But perhaps for yourself, it's something that you might want to study. It's something that might be very beneficial to you, is learning some divining art, maybe reading tarot cards, maybe studying the I Ching and getting I Ching hexagrams, maybe geomancy, oneromancy, which is like studying dreams, scrying with a black shiny surface or a mirror or a crystal, or maybe scrying through smoke or by staring at flame. There are some people who can scry in the back of their eyelids, which is essentially what I do in the meditation that I start every reading with. So there are many divination arts that you can study. Maybe some astrogalomancy, throwing knuckle bones, throwing dice. Anything like this could be helpful to you, or it might be something that you're interested in pursuing. And now would be a good time to start that study or the practice. Because an important thing about this image of water above the earth is that this flowing water can sometimes symbolize a restless mind. And a restless mind, in this case, working in a group, can ruin a group dynamic. It can essentially just bring misfortune to the group. If someone's mind is restless, tasks aren't getting done, maybe there's gossip, maybe there's just, or not necessarily gossip, but there's some restlessness that you need to watch out for. I'm not saying it's happening, probably isn't, but if it is, it's just something to look out for and get on top of and get a grip on. And the divination arts can really help calm the mind, because one of the main purposes of the divining arts is to slow down and focus on an issue at hand, or to focus on yourself, to bring awareness within yourself and reflect on life and reflect on everything, and to bring stillness to that restless mind. And you can find answers even if you don't believe in divination. It undoubtedly helps because you expose yourself to symbolism, maybe the symbolism of tarot cards, the symbolism of the I Ching, symbolism that you've created yourself, symbolism of any oracle card deck, anything at all, symbolism of the images and thoughts that come into your mind's eye. It all helps you reflect. You just think about the symbolism of it, and it will inspire you to think about your situation from various perspectives. And it's very, very helpful. Even if you don't believe in mysticism or anything like that, it will uncover things from your subconscious if you practice the divining arts. And that's really the secret. That's really the really special thing about the divining arts, is you don't necessarily need to believe in anything spiritual or mystical to practice them. I do. I deeply believe in spiritual matters, but that's neither here nor there. My opinions don't really matter. But it could be a very good tool for you to calm down a restless mind. Now this changing line at the 4th place is interesting, because normally the 5th line is what we call the host of the gua. It's usually the host of the gua, or the hexagram. It's usually the most auspicious, and in this case the 5th line is very auspicious because it's the only solid line. You see all the other lines are yielding or broken. It's the only yang line, the rest are yin lines. But you're here at the 4th place, just below the 5th place. So what this is telling me is that you're not the leader of this group. There's another leader. Somebody else is leading this project, this group. Maybe it's your family and there's some other head of the household. Maybe it's at work and there's another project leader, team leader, or something like that, or whatever it is. And this leader is a worthy leader, according to what I'm seeing here, for the most part. Maybe not, judging by the madman screaming vision that I got. It might be an overly enthusiastic leader, someone maybe with a little bit of what we call toxic positivity, but we'll get into that and develop that. But generally this is a good changing line. It just means that the leader is pretty good, is the right person for the job, and you're in a supporting role, and you're meant to be very helpful and supportive for this person. That this leader is depending on your help, and without your help the project won't go forward. It'll bring misfortune. So maybe this restless mind is within the mind of the leader, and the leader might have some unfortunate toxic positivity where they think their vision is so great, and they're just so bubbly and positive about the whole thing that they might make some missteps here and there. And so I guess part of what you can do is just watch out for the potholes for them. If you see your crazy leader walking and he's about to step into a pothole, maybe see if you can fill it with gravel before he gets there. You know what I mean? Look out for those little things that your leader might not be paying attention to. And you could be in a very supportive, good role. It's not like this leader is crazy or wrong or anything. They're just maybe just a little out there, a little overexcited perhaps, which can be good. It can be, a little enthusiasm can get the fires burning, can get the crowd going, and it can be good to have that type of enthusiasm. But you also need level-headed thinking. You need calm awareness on the situation. So let's develop this further. I'm going to pull some cards for you. I'm going to use my own divination system. We're going to focus on an aspect of life that the Oracle wants us to focus on. Here I got 24 symbols. We're going to choose one with a coin toss. And that's what the Oracle, that's the aspect of reality, or the aspect of your life that the Oracle wants us to focus on. We'll pull some cards about it. So, what does Scorpio need to know today, Oracle? What does Scorpio need to know? Interesting. Right on the companion. The companion. The symbol I chose for the companion is a Vesica Pisces. It's that two circles, like a Venn diagram, you know, with two circles where they kind of meet in the middle. The companion, that's interesting. Yeah, you're being asked to be a good companion. You're being asked to be a good supporter of this person who's leading this group. And never underestimate the necessity of a good supporting role. Remember, it's crucial for people to have support, and without support, things fail. Without Sam Gamgee, Frodo would have failed in destroying the ring, right? I use that example all the time, but it's such a good example from Lord of the Rings. If you're not a nerd like me, you know, sometimes a leader just has so much to deal with that they'll make missteps, and without a supporting personality with them, the whole mission will fail. So supporting roles are just as important as leadership roles, and there's no such thing as an unimportant job, especially in groups like this. Every task is important, so you know, don't let it strike your ego bad that like, oh, I want to be the leader and I'm not. It's fine. Being a supporter, a helper, is absolutely crucial, and it's humble, it's modest. God loves supporters. He really does. Just look at all the healers and such like in times of crisis. How the healers and supporters come from the monastic institutions. Here we have the Eight of Swords. So again, I'm getting that restless mind, the water over the earth. There's, you might feel stuck in something. Maybe you don't want to be part of this group. Like I said at the outset of the reading, that you might not have too many options here. Going it alone might not be a good idea, even though you kind of want to and wish you could. You might be stuck in this group here. There might be 8 people in this group, you know. It could be like a big group and you're not really feeling it, maybe. Maybe you're overthinking all of this. Maybe you really wanted to be the leader of this group and you didn't get the position, and now you're being relegated to a supporting role when you thought you were supposed to be leading this campaign, this group. So this might have you kind of trapped in your head, maybe a little bit bothered, maybe a little bit stuck, not knowing where to go forward from here. But I think just you're gonna have to take steps. I'm gonna pull another card to find out, you know, how you can alleviate this. Generally, I think this is just in your head. I don't think you're really trapped. We always have a choice. And you can be liberated by accepting the role that you were given, the supporting role. Just accepting it and being the helper that you can be, and just getting through it. The project won't last forever. You know, this group won't last forever. Here we have complexity. And it's an image of, at first I thought that was a peacock feather. Not exactly sure what it is. It looks like a frayed peacock feather. I really don't know. But yeah, peacock feathers are complex. They're iridescent. They change color based on the angle you're looking at them. So there's complexity in this situation, and that leader might have gotten their position through convoluted means. It might have been very difficult to select the people for this group and what roles they should have. it might not have been very clear cut, and that has you kind of maybe a little annoyed, maybe a little stuck feeling, maybe you felt like it wasn't fair, and you might be right, maybe it wasn't fair. But these complex situations, you know, there's just not much you can do to like sort them out once they've sort of crystallized and taken form, and now it's going in this direction. It's doing it. It is, the group is formed. It's there are a lot of conditions that came together to put you all in the roles that you got, and to like change all those conditions to change the roles would just be overly complex. It would not be worth doing that. You might be thinking like, oh, I can change some of the conditions, I can change some of the things that led to this, and then I can get the leadership role, or we can change what we're doing, because this leader might be a little bit crazy, a little toxically positive, you know, be suffering from toxic positivity or overenthusiasm or unclear thinking, and you're afraid of what will happen with this leader. Even though the leader's not a bad person, maybe just slightly unhinged, and it's just making you a little uncomfortable. But the situation's too complex to like bother undoing it. It's like acceptance of the situation is probably the best step forward. I'm gonna pull a token for you. For my own divination system, I carved 64 symbols onto little pieces of oak. And we'll clarify this whole thing with this. So what does Scorpio need to know? Eight of Swords, complexity, the companion. Companion and complexity. It's interesting. What does Scorpio need to know? Virgo. So here we have the astrological symbol of Virgo. Now Virgo, maybe you've got some strong Virgo in your chart. Now, what I immediately thought of, when I looked at this symbol just now, I immediately saw that the fish symbol, right? That's on the ladder, the other part. It's the fish, and that just reminds me of the Virgin Mary giving birth to Jesus. Jesus is symbolized by the fish, right? He was the inaugurator of the age of Pisces, and heavily symbolized fish. He was a fisher of men, right? He calmed the waters of the ocean and walked on water. It's all very symbolic of calming the emotions, of belief and faith. And part of the age of Pisces was an age where people need to have faith in things that they can't directly experience or perceive. It was an age of like institutionalized religion, which you may or may not like. You might disagree with it or agree with it. It's neither here nor there. But the age of Pisces was characterized by the cultivation of faith within the human race, and the cultivation of belief without proof. So the Virgin Mary is, Virgo, that's the one who essentially forced the human race to go down that road. It was like, okay, it's time for you guys to practice a new type of spirituality. It's time for you to see if you can still have faith and spirituality even in this increasingly materialistic world. Of course, throughout the age of Pisces, the last 2,000 years, we saw materialism, whether it's scientific materialism and atheism, or even just consumerism, becoming more and more and more rampant, and faithlessness and anti-spirituality becoming more and more and more popular. To maintain that faith was essentially our challenge over the last 2,000 years. It was so this coming in to clarify the companion and complexity and the Eight of Swords is that, yeah, faith is necessary right now. It's just a tough situation that you're in, but it's not that tough. I think the toughness or the difficulty is just mostly in your head. I think this is going to work out better than you think it will. I think you might have some unfounded fears here and you're just overthinking the whole process. Think about the people who selected the group and put the group together. Or think of the forces and conditions that brought the group together in the way that it has been brought together. Do you distrust those forces, those people, or do you trust them? Can you trust them? Can you put your faith in these people? I'm inclined to say yes, you probably can. And your faith will probably be pretty well placed if you choose to believe in these people or the conditions that brought you all together, and move forward again with accepting what has happened and being supportive. Virgo is also pretty stubborn. You might be feeling very stubborn about this whole thing. You know, I'm not going to give you advice, although I kind of did give you some. Like, you're kind of at this choice point where you can continue doing this and choose to have a good attitude or choose to have a lousy attitude about it. And that's up to you. Because there might not be a lot you can do to change the circumstances here. And either fully accepting it, accepting your role as a supporter, moving forward and being helpful and humble and creating harmonious relationships, seeing all of your similarities, putting aside your differences and just moving forward will bring you a lot of success, or you can outright quit the whole thing. I don't think, I mean, it's going to be a big setback for you. You're free to do it, of course, but you'll probably have to cut ties with people, and you'll probably have to start a completely new thing on your own, and it'll be a pretty big setback for you. Of course, it's possible, and you can do it. You can just cut the whole thing out, cut out all the complexity, stop being the companion, separate, and start something on your own or new, but you'll basically be starting from square one with something totally different. I don't know if that's worth it for you or not. If it is, you have that choice. But I think all of the frustration you're feeling is only in your head, and I think you can move forward with this group and have success here if you just trust and have faith in all the conditions that brought you to where you are and continue down that road. Yeah, I think that's all the Oracle and I have for you today, Scorpio. Thank you so much for stopping by. It's always great to see you. I wish you all the best, and I hope to see you again soon. Take it easy.